A semi-detached is basically a bungalow or a mansion that has been split down the middle like a watermelon, creating two houses that are mirror images of each other when they were first built. Symmetrical is probably the appropriate word to use here. What we have here today is a 2-story, 4-bedroom semi-detached. It has open concept common areas, nicely demarcated bedrooms, and a couple of weirdly elongated areas. What kind of secrets are being hidden in this house? Let's get it. This is the facing of the property. This is a porch area, and this is the main door. When we start a feng shui assessment of a home interiors, one of the first instinctive things that any practitioner would observe is the view of the house from the main door looking in. Do you see anything wrong with this view? If we are in a classroom, I might pause for a minute to see if there are any learners who can find issues of concern on the floor plan. We are obviously not in a class, so I'll just point it out to you. Look at this area. These are 3 negatives in sight from the main door looking in. What are they exactly and how do we resolve them? We will get to them as we move through the house, area by area. Immediately as we enter the house from the front door, you can see that the staircase to the upper level is here on the left. Setups like this are generally not ideal, as residents can often arrive home and go straight up to their bedrooms, maybe to clear their browser histories before the wife gets home. This means that very often, when residents come home, they would not be entering the other living areas of the house, depriving these common areas of valuable yang energy. There's nothing you can do about this staircase on the floor plan. Moving it is very unlikely, but if you can move it, you would probably want to move it deeper into the house, maybe into this area or this area. But this is just an imagination talking. The reality is that this is the floor plan and we have to work with this. Okay, this is the living room. I find it rather perplexing to see the sofa being positioned here when the TV set is over here. A better position for the sofa set would be in this area, with the backing against the wall. And these display cabinets can be moved over here. Okay, when you orientate the sofa to this position, this effectively puts it into full command position. 左青龙右白虎. The dragon on the left with open spaces, and the tiger on the right with a guardian wall. This also allows someone who is sitting here to observe the entryway into the living room. The 2 single-seater couches can be placed here and here, effectively flanking the main sofa from both sides. There's no better position for the sofa set in the living room on this floor plan. You would effectively be in beast mode when seated here. If only all the living rooms on review are this easy. But that's like a footballer wishing for a penalty in every game. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, earlier we talked about this area being one of the 3 issues with the main door looking in. The problem with this area is that the console is protruding from the wall here, effectively disrupting the main energy that's coming in via the main door. This cabinet area seems to be aligned with the main door, so I don't think it will be a problem. The problem is the TV console that's protruding from the wall over here. What you can do is use a smaller TV console, and your set-top boxes can probably be placed in a sideways position so that it stands like a tower. Then you'll be inside this area already. If your DVD players and set-top boxes are built to only lay flat like a pancake, then don't forget that you can buy brackets to have them stand against the wall. This is a seemingly minor but important factor, as energy entering from the main door will pass through this whole area before entering the kitchen and dining areas. You want to avoid having energy that is tampered with to enter these areas. Okay, in traditional feng shui, we often say that the kitchen and the living room should be clearly demarcated, usually with a wall or with a door that comes with a wall. This is so that the status of the man and woman are not blurred within the household. This is a very common issue with open concept kitchens. One of the effective ways to demarcate open concept kitchens is with the use of different flooring, which is what we see over here. In the absence of walls, this open concept kitchen will be essentially sharing the living space with the living room and the dining area. But the flooring is purposely installed with different tiles, so a clear demarcation of the kitchen area can be seen on this floor plan. If you want to challenge the authority of your husband in the household, now you know what to do to blur the lines. This is the kitchen area. The stove is over here, and there's a sink over here. This is also a sink. Now, even though this sink is oriented to face this direction, the position of it opposite the stove also presents a clash of water and fire. It's better to just remove this sink from the kitchen. Because if you look here, the faucet of this sink is actually pointing towards the window. This is not as severe as having it point towards the door, but the affliction is present nevertheless. Have you heard of indoor water features where people say don't have the water flow to the window or to the door because it will essentially be flowing out of the house? This is the same theory over here. In feng shui, we don't like to see water flowing out of the house. Okay, when you take a look at the cooking position, which is over here, you can observe that when someone is using the stove, he or she would be in a standing position with no backing. This can compromise the status of the matriarch in the household. If you look here, the area of the kitchen is already much smaller than the living area. Now the sofa sat in the command position and the stove cooking position being compromised, you can guess who will be calling the shots in this household. Unless the stove can be moved, there is no straightforward solution to this cooking position. The simplest but probably impractical solution to this is to build a wall or a tall cabinet in this area here. This is so that the matriarch would have some kind of needed support from behind when cooking. It would also block off the water energy from this sink from clashing with the stove over here. Now take a look at this cabinet over here. This looks totally out of place. And if you recall, this is the second affliction of the main door looking in over here. It is disrupting the main door's entry line. So just remove this. The third affliction of the main door is that it has a view of the refrigerator over here. The fridge is associated with wealth. It's simply not best practice to have it in view from the main door. Would you want your safe to be in plain sight when someone looks into your door? No, right? A better position for the refrigerator would be here. But placing it here would mean that you'll be facing this oddly shaped storage room. Maybe the designer is trying to castle-gate this door for fun, but since this cabinet is going to be removed, you can just place some tall potted plants in this area to address this concern. Talking about this storage room, it just seems to be in an odd shape. I don't know why it is built like this. It could be a structural thing, or maybe the designer had one drink too many from the night before. Anyway, if it's possible, it's better to just square it off. Then the door can be built here. The dining area seems nice. There's nothing more I would want to add to this area. Maybe other than using a round table would be better than a square table because it allows every resident in the house to be facing a personal lucky direction. Even though there's a door behind these seats and a window behind these seats, sealing them would be impractical. Feng Shui is not always about being ideal, especially when we factor in common sense. This is a common bathroom, and from this setup, it looks like a mirror will be set up here. This means that you'll be reflecting the door and in fact reflecting what's outside of the washroom. To remedy this issue, install curtains at the door here. There are two squarish bedrooms on the ground floor. They are like mirror images of each other. It's like looking at a pizza that's sliced down the center, and then one half will usually have more pepperoni than the other. The beds can be placed here and here. Now there's a door-to-door problem over here. This bedroom door is facing this bedroom door. The implication of this is that residents of these two bedrooms will be vulnerable to getting into conflicts, arguments. I don't know the situation of this household, but I suspect that one of these two bedrooms will be used as a guest room. If that is the case, then this affliction can be ignored, since there's no one to get into conflict with. Which room to use as a guest room? Look here. If you look at this sofa placement, it actually has a view into this bedroom, a view of the bed. So this is actually a compromised sleeping position. Even though it is the best bed position in this room, it is compromised because the sofa set in the living room has a view of the bed inside the room. So this room is better used as the guest room. Okay, as we move to level 2 of this property, take note that if there are feng shui jargon that you don't quite understand, check out the description below, as I will try to link to places where it explains what all this jargon means. We are now at level 2 of this semi-detached house. This bedroom uses a common washroom area, which means that the master bedroom is the only bedroom in the house with its own bathroom. Oh, I just saw something. Let me pull up both floor plans for a moment. You will see here, this is level 2, this is level 1. There are two washrooms on top of this bedroom. So actually, this bedroom will be better used as a guest room. Now let's go back to the bedroom on level 2. The best bed location for this bedroom is over here. This should be long enough, because when we look at the bathtub over here, it actually is shorter than the bed. So this area should be long enough to place the bed. This area cannot, because of the door here and the door here. This area also cannot, because this space is too tight. The resident may have a problem getting out of bed. As you can see, there's a huge balcony area right here at the side of the house. And then there's an elongated storage space over here. Okay, I don't know why they built such a long storage space. Maybe they're hiding a missile here. And now looking at it, there seems to be no entrance into the storage space. It must be using a secret entrance somewhere, like what we see in the movie Parasite. because I cannot see the door. Okay, I suggest a door over here or here. Let's move on to the master bedroom, the place where dreams are made. Now the shape of this master bedroom is so good, but the layout design leaves a lot to be desired. Look at the entry line of these doors. Now let me ask you, where do you think we can place the bed? Here? Not unless you sleep in a crib. The only place is here. For a room this size, it is such a waste, or even a shame, that the bed placement options is so limited to this small area. Now, of course, you can make the personal choice of sleeping here, here, or here, and get butchered by these energy forces. It's your personal choice. But we're talking about feng shui here. So the only safe area is this one. Some people might say that, but my wealth direction is here, so I need to sleep in a bed over here. Well, you can go ahead as long as you don't mind being stricken with bad health, especially with lower body ailments. Look at it this way. If you're trying to fill a water bottle from the tap, will you be able to do it if someone is constantly pushing you from the side? Saying that, if you are hell-bent on sleeping on a bed over here, you can install curtains on this wall for some form of protection. But the best bed position is still this area over here. An alternative location is actually this area. This is because very often people who reside in houses and bedrooms like this actually seldom use the balcony. So this door is seldom used in the house. If anything, this door is mostly used as a window to allow daylight to come in. If this is the case, then this alternative location would be acceptable. Actually, if the homeowner is open to some remodeling works, then this door can actually be sealed. Then the entrance be built here. Now the designer must be high on something here, as there are two basins side by side. Open up this space, take away the basin, use these two spaces for wardrobe area. Then this whole space will be free from the stale energy of the bathroom because we have already sealed the door here. Okay, now if you want to sleep in this area with your head pointing towards your lucky direction, now you can do it. Okay, finally we come to the long balcony over here at the side of the house. Okay, this is like a resort style balcony. We usually see this in Bali. But the setup of this balcony actually creates an affliction, one that is seldom talked about in feng shui circles. But it's still here. Okay, look here. Because there are two entrances to this balcony, energy is capable of moving this way into the house and go full circle this way. We call this the runaround, 回风沙. But in this instance, this is not a severe example of this affliction, but it is present nevertheless. A serious affliction would mean that the residents would constantly find little problems that are disrupting their progress, and also seldom at home. Okay, we've come to the end of this video. You can subscribe, like, comment, or follow me on Facebook and Instagram. See you!